You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. So, home appeal, home values, how do you keep that curb appeal at its maximum for your neighborhood, for your ranch house, for your whatever that is? So, wherever you happen to live. And there are some standards, and they've done some serious studies. This is where realtors really do have some good tools. They can help you maintain or increase the value of your home. And it all starts with number one, trees. Trees are something you plant now and they grow. The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is today. So getting them in so they have time to grow. And they actually have insurance claims on trees. They'll tell you that if something happens, lightning strikes, it falls down, there's a value to that. And so there's some calculators, the National Tree Benefit Calculator. You can kind of look that up. They measure by your property's value, the CO2 reductions, energy savings. There's several things that go into that. But the typical ash tree, ash is there's a native Arizona ash. If it's got about a 24-inch trunk diameter, so maybe the average kind of smaller, bigger tree, it's kind of mature, but not huge, can be up to a couple $100, the value. Catalpas to $300. Maples and sycamores are right up there at $300 per tree. And as they get up into that 16-inch level, I mean, that's where you're going, whoa, that's a serious tree. My gosh, 16 inches around, you're up to easily $2,000-$3,000 for the value of a tree. So that's where you set the stage. There's some things where just looking at a tree, sitting underneath one just for 5 minutes de-stresses you. It's just like there's a therapeutic thing that happens to you personally. But just properties that have trees, they can save on average about $200 to $300 in energy savings. That's the U.S. Department of Energy. And when they're planted as windbreaks, they can reduce your winter heating bills by up to 15%. And air conditioning can be reduced by upwards to 75%. If you got a lot of shade, it just really, really cuts back on how much you need to cool down. So trees do a lot. I think they start with that. The other one I kind of researched, native plants, compared to, let's say, a lawn. So you folks from the Midwest, you all love your lawns. Here in the Southwest, we're less in love. There's some lawns, but they tend to be smaller, kind of less. We don't have the whole property. So you can spend up to $20,000 over 20 years for the traditional lawn. That's a whopping $20,000. That's a lot. And that's probably before it was inflated. Maybe it's 25 now, over as opposed to native plants or low care shrubs and ground covers. That's on the average per acre of native plants. You're over 20 years, about $3,000 compared to 20. It's huge, the difference. And so we tend to do a lot of micro irrigation or drip irrigation with low water and kind of water efficient plants here in at least the mountain areas of Arizona. That's another way you can quickly add to curb appeal. So, and that's, I'd say, clean up. A lot of folks, let's say you bought that pre-owned home and the gentleman that was taking care of it couldn't over the last 5 to 10 years and it kind of got overgrown. Cleaning things up make a big difference, including some of those natives. Outdoor lighting has surprising impact on the value of your home, how it looks, how it's perceived. 41% of all home buyers want lighting, or say it's actually essential. 49% desire it. So almost half desire it. 41% say, yeah, I got to have it. And so, and I think there's a difference between solar lights and just actually installed, nicely made fixtures. It gives you that resort feel in the backyard. We enjoy our season from spring through fall. So just glorious weather. And so you can be out there and enjoy that lighting more longer periods of time than other parts. So insurance companies will give you about a 5 to 15% discount on your homeowner's insurance. If you've got lighting with tasteful plants, and you've got not any real claims out there, just it adds security. There's a lot to it. So it reduces burglaries, that kind of stuff. Fencing, other than chain link really doesn't add value, but cedar fence, block fences do. They can add up to $2,000 to $5,000 worth of value, perceived value to your home just by having fenced areas. And so retaining walls and terraces, it adds more useful space to your landscape. And so the average 20-foot long by 30-inch high stone wall can increase the value of your home by $2,000, $3,000. And then walkways, surprisingly, from just the backyard to the front yard, or down the side property line to the front door, having something nice out there can add up to like $20 a square foot to your, it just adds this welcome to my home. I'm glad you're here. Now, with that being said, looking at appraisers, they go, yep, as long as it meets the neighborhood standards, you're good. If you get crazy wild and it's more artistry than landscaping or fitting in with all your neighbors, if you stand out, it almost brings you down. So people go, oh, I don't want to correct all that. I just wanted beige. Okay, maybe that's extreme. Gray is the new beige. Maybe it's all gray. But having tasteful walkways, not broken glass or some of that kind of stuff. You can get really creative. And I love the artistry. You artists out there, I mean, I love you guys. I'm right there with you. But we're talking about curb appeal and what gets your house remembered and adds to the value of your house. Trees are where it's at. Low care shrubs are right there with it. Outdoor lighting, fencing that kind of either for mainly pets or to keep javelina and deer out. There's reasons, different ways for it. Making the property, especially on inclines with raised beds and terraces, make a big difference. And then walkways. Those are the ways you can really make a kind of a quick impact. Now, I guess not so quick. It takes a while to put a walkway in. But those are ways that really keep it up. And then just, I've got several properties that I've bought over the years that were just overgrown. They just needed some TLC to kind of get them back to where they looked groomed. And so the plants are wild things. And when left to their own, they just go wild. What makes them beautiful is when you take a wildness and then you tame it and groom it, clean it, shape it. And now you get to go out and enjoy this shapely, decorative vista overlooking a mountain view with the sunset. All of a sudden, it totally changes the feeling of that. It becomes your home, or it can be a wild jungle. Wild jungles kind of bring you down. I would say right now, plants are growing wild. They are growing like crazy. Don't be afraid to cut on things right now. I would say too, as you start to trim or clean things up, I'll be preaching this over the next probably 5 to 6 weeks. You need to fertilize. The most important fertilizing of the year is right now. So we're fall this week. So sometime during the fall or autumn season, you really do need to refertilize everything. I was looking at my yard. I'm a good fertilizer. I'm consistent. And even some of my plants this week, I was walking through, cleaning things up, accessorizing with a few flowering kind of things, just decorating, picking pumpkins, accessorizing the front doors. And I went, wow, that plant's been growing so fast. It looks like it's starving a little bit, like it's hungry. The leaves are going a little yellow, yet I know it's not fall color. I know it's from, it just ran out of food. And so now it looks a little chlorotic, a little yellow, a little off, like it's anemic. It was anemic. And so I need to fertilize those plants. I know. So, and some of your plants are like that. They're like test victims. They whine and complain and show off sooner than the other folks. And so the pine trees, the junipers, the cypress, they're going to be the last ones to tell you they're hungry. The first ones are going to be those quick blooming, lilacs and forsythia, the spring blooming, the summer blooming. The crepe myrtle just stop, and now all of a sudden they're glorious green with some purple hues, and now they're kind of some yellowing. They're not supposed to turn color for another month. That's lack of food. Make sure you fertilize everything in the yard in the next few weeks with 744 all-purpose plant food. Water's garden companion plants for September are pampas grass, honeysuckle, raywood ash, and lacy blue Russian sage.
Lacy blue Russian sage is a Water's preferred perennial for its compact form that doesn't flop over in the landscape like others.
The spiky blue flowers bloom summer through fall with aromatic foliage detestable to all animals.
Simply stunning at the edge of dry stream beds mixed with wildflowers.
Shop in-store or online at watersgardencenter.com. For a more fruitful garden, increased success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.